But it doesn't matter. They're in your area. They're just going to do whatever they want. And I guess if they don't have a law, they don't care, because he says, you go outside with this, you're looking for trouble. He feels like you shouldn't have this as a slave, and so he's going to take them. That's the end of it. Doesn't matter if it's $30,000 shipment. Doesn't matter, because they run this country now.
Yep, that's exactly right. After about 3 months of this seizure going on, I started writing letters and calling people. I talked to an agent back in Maryland, I believe it was, who was in the ATF division of firearms importations. And I explained the situation to her, and she said, well, why did ATF take Airsoft? And I said, well, I guess because they can. And she said, well, ATF has no jurisdiction over Airsoft. And if you would give my telephone number, meaning her telephone number, to the local ATF people and tell them to call her, she would inform them that they have no jurisdiction over Airsoft.
Now, again,
that didn't dissuade them.
That didn't dissuade them.
No.
So explain who you separately talked to at ATF, who was, what her position is, and then what they said, because we want to write an article about this.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I can provide you with a phone number at some future. I don't have it with me right here. But as I mentioned, after calling the ATF back east and explaining my situation to about 4 or 5 people, I finally got to this agent in, as I mentioned, the Division of Firearms Importation. And I explained it to her, and she said, we have no jurisdiction over Airsoft. So
sir,
the ATF controls by ruling. That's what they do. They see something, they don't need a law about it. They just make a ruling.
Let me expand on that. Let me expand on that.
Yeah.
This is a commerce issue. You've been robbed. When an officer, federal or state, operates clearly outside their jurisdiction, consciously through color of law, you have been physically robbed, and so you file a criminal police report that you've been robbed.
Well, in essence, I wrote to them, and I said, what's happening with this shipment? Why am I getting no information about this? Because they're incredibly secretive. They don't give you any information.
No judge, no jury, no indictment, no interview, no arrest, no paperwork. Just your 30,000 of toy guns is gone, pal. We don't need no stinking warrants or paperwork. We rule America. You don't sell toy guns around here, boy.
Absolutely, that's right. And I figured that if they really thought my guns were machine guns like they said they were, I'd be in handcuffs by now. But they're not down here arresting me. And they're not in other vendors' stores.
This is sold at Walmart, Academy, everywhere, the exact same fake M16 plastic toy guns. People are running around with these, having a great time, and it's buoying the gun culture. And I think this is an ATF case on purpose. From the Obama administration, we confirmed in Austin they shut down a gun show with no law to set a national precedent, and I believe they picked you as a small independent dealer to set the precedent.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. Yes, sir, I agree with you.
Well, give out your website again for legal eagles, lawyers on the West Coast, other people that want to bring civil rights suits, commerce suits, robbery suits, criminal charges, because we have a lot of experts out there that are listening that would want to email you advice.
Yeah, nothing would please me more. My website is www.airsoftoutletnw.com.
Now, tell people, Brad Martin, when this first happened and any new developments, because we're quite a few days into this, and I guess they say, look, talk to the hand. You don't get paperwork. You don't get anything. We just rob you.
Well, that's basically it. Now, I spoke to an ATF agent up in Tacoma, a week or 10 days ago, and this guy had his head screwed on straight. I think there are some really good agents in the company, basically, but the anti-gun influence is so strong that I think these sensible guys get shouted down. But I was talking to him, and he said that basically Customs has me on a hit list now, that anytime one of my orders hits port, they're going to flag my order. They're going to take it for intensive examination. And right now, they have 2 more of my orders backed up in port for intensive examination. And
whoa, they're going to put you out of business. They got a $30,000 order and just grabbed it with the ATF. What have they gotten now?
Oh, they've got about another 20,000 in there now. Yeah, about another 20,000.
Unbelievable. Well, people need to, all over the country, order the guns you've got in stock, the plastic toy pellet guns, just to keep you afloat. Because that's one thing I noticed the feds will do. They'll just ruin you to set the precedent, pick a little guy, and then hope you just go away.
Yeah, well, we're not going to go away. You know, you piss off a Scotsman, and they're going to fight back. So I'm kind of fed up with their behavior.
I hear you, my friend.
I don't know if I can generate enough income to take the feds to court or not, but I'm going to look at that. And I don't know if the NRA or other gun groups could take up interest in this and talk. You know,
we've got Larry Pratt on. What is Pratt on Thursday? Head of Gun Owners of America. We're going to get, believe me, Jews for Preservation of Firearms or the Gun Owners of America is going to want to help you. We've got the ATF red-handed here in lawlessness, color of law, Shanghaiing, freebooting. This is the same as just robbing a stagecoach. I mean, they are bandits here, and if the precedent gets set by Customs and these guys, we're all in deep trouble. We got to hang together or we'll surely hang separate. One more segment, sir. Stay right there.
Yes, sir.
Airsoft outlet, NW.com. Our website's Infowars.com. Congressman Ron Paul, political activists, freedom defenders, folks like this gentleman, gun shows. We're here defending, lobbying for liberty and freedom, rallying people to support the Constitution and Bill of Rights. That's why it's important to support Infowars.com, visit the online video bookstore, whether you get a ball cap or whether you buy a video. You can get Jesse Ventura's new book that we're now going to start shipping, $5 off, $19.95, and get one of my films free, a $45 value for $19.95, available at Infowars.com. We're carrying a new video, which is an amazing documentary by the folks that brought you America's Secret Beginnings, A Lamp in the Dark, the untold history of the Bible, a lot of key stuff, hidden history. This just went on the shopping cart today. Infowars.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Going back to this gentleman, Brad Martin, I mean, this is like more than Orwellian. It's surreal, like a comedy. The news holding up a gun with a red tip, a little toy plastic machine gun, saying, oh, my gosh, it's so scary, and an ATF guy will put his picture up there, you know, looking like he's in deep fear over all this. I mean, if they can get toy guns, nothing's safe.
It's sure the truth. You know, I went over to the local coffee shop for a cup this morning, and the police chief from our town was in there, and off the record, not as police chief, but he's 100% behind us on this. And he and I were talking, and he was saying that Americans are afraid of everything, and the government wants to protect us from everything that's even a little bit scary. And basically, that's what's happening here. You know, this creeping totalitarianism of the government wanting to have their fingers and control everything, and it's just got to stop somewhere. I don't know where it stops, but we got to do something about it.
Well, look at this ATF officer. What is his name? Clevin. Throw him back up on screen. Clevin Crenshaw. I mean, he's in what looks like a $2,000 suit, taxpayer paid for.
That's a beautiful suit he's wearing. I got to say that.
Yeah. I mean, this is a stunt for him, a stunt from the ATF. Guaranteed Obama's pushing this. He's here trampling on your right to commerce. They've now got $50,000 of your toy guns, and they just think you're not even human. I mean, doing this to you, it's like you don't even exist.
That's so true. You know, it's like, since when is it a crime against a vendor who brings in a legal product and somebody somewhere, some wacko decides that he's going to convert that legal product into something illegal? Why does that make it the vendor's crime that he's brought in a legal product? And that's
but by the way, I own some of these. I mean, it converts something that's air-powered and doesn't even have the mechanism to, you know, put in a cartridge that has powder that projects it. I mean, this is asinine. I mean, sure, if you went to a top machinist, maybe they could build something that would chamber around, but then this is tin metal, it would blow up.
Well, that's our point too. And if a guy wanted an AR-15 or an M4, he could go to his local gun store and pay $1,000 and get a dependable platform instead of going to an airsoft store and paying probably around $500 for this product, spending all kinds of time and energy trying to convert this into a gun that's going to blow up into his face. It's totally illogical.
Do you agree with me, though, that they've been trying to kill the gun culture and that airsoft is literally one of the, and I noticed this years ago, one of the key things getting people into the gun culture? That's the end of it. Doesn't matter if it's $30,000 shipment. Doesn't matter, because they run this country now.
Yep, that's exactly right. After about 3 months of this seizure going on, I started writing letters and calling people. I talked to an agent back in Maryland, I believe it was, who was in the ATF division of firearms importations. And I explained the situation to her, and she said, well, why did ATF take airsoft? And I said, well, I guess because they can. And she said, well, ATF has no jurisdiction over airsoft. And if you would give my telephone number, meaning her telephone number, to the local ATF people and tell them to call her, she would inform them that they have no jurisdiction over airsoft.
Now, again,
that didn't dissuade.
But it doesn't matter. They're in your area. They're just going to do whatever they want. And I guess if they don't have a law, they don't care, because he says, you go outside with this, you're looking for trouble. He feels like you shouldn't have this as a slave, and so he's going to take them.
Wait them.
That didn't dissuade them. So explain who you separately talked to at ATF, who was, what her position is, and then what they said, because we want to write an article about this.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I can provide you with a phone number at some